How's everybody doing today? This is Noah with the Life of the Zigs, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I fix a problem with my ride-on lawnmower and how it could fix your problem too. So let's get started. So when I say I have a problem with my lawnmower, the problem is that when I press the gas pedal down sometimes, especially when I'm pulling my leaf back, it doesn't want to move. The gas is fully mashed to the floor and it's just not moving. Now, my first thought was, well, it could just be because it's an older lawnmower. But then I had a thought. My thought is that, well, how does power get from the engine to the transmission on these lawnmowers? So I got to do some researching and looking underneath my lawnmower, and well, believe it or not, they have belts underneath them. When it comes to this John Deere lawnmower, as well as any other ride-on lawnmower, such as Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, Troy Built, you name it, any big box store ride-on lawnmowers are all very similar. They get powered by a transmission drive belt. Now I picked this drive belt up at my local Lowe's. You could find it at your local Lowe's as well. I'll also link this on Amazon for people to purchase it. Now, the other mowers are gonna have different belt sizes, so don't buy this for a Cub Cadet mower or anything else. You'll easily be able to find your drive belts online or at your local lawnmower supplier. The last reason I want to touch upon on why I think it's this belt causing this issue is that I looked underneath and the belt has cracks in it and it's never been replaced in the 4 years since I've owned this. This also has about 140 hours on it, so it's definitely been used and abused. So now let me show you how you can change your transmission belt on your riding lawnmower. First step in doing this is you need to drop your deck so you can access underneath your mower. In order to do that, lower your deck all the way down. Once it's all the way down, disconnect it according to your manufacturer's specs. For most John Deere ride-on mowers, this is a very similar process. You have a pin up front, which you need to remove. Remove that pin right there. And you have two attachment points on the back. One being right up here, remove that pin. And then one being right up here, you remove that pin. And same goes for the other side. So I'm gonna remove all those pins and drop the deck and pull it out. Last but certainly not least, you have the line that engages the mower blades. You need to remove that. Then you slide the deck out. All right, so the deck is out now, right on the ground right here. This is a great time to maintenance your mower blades, maintenance your deck, clean it off. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm not gonna show you it because that's not the point of this video, but definitely do it if you have your deck out. All right, my deck's all out of the way and all maintenanced. Make sure you chalk your rear wheels, and now you're gonna jack your mower up. I have this nice bracket here for my snow plow that I'm gonna use to jack it up. If not, you can always go under on the axle and jack it up. All right, so the mower's all jacked up. It is slightly a dangerous task to work under here, so I recommend somehow shoring it up, maybe hooking it to your ceiling or something like that as a safety measure. I don't really have that option now, so I'm gonna work under it, but just be really careful working under it when it's jacked up like this, because the jack can fail, you can bump the mower. It's pretty solid right now, it's not gonna go anywhere, but still, and be very careful working under it. All right, so taking a look at everything here, this is your transmission belt right here. That's pretty loose on mine right now. So we're gonna get to that. We gotta take a couple things off in order to get to that. One of the first things you wanna make sure you do is mark where your steering's at. So I'm gonna get a marker and mark that. I have a green marker. So I'm just gonna kinda draw like that and make sure I label it good. Also gonna mark it right here, so in case that's looking weird, I can line it up there. Starting off right here, I'm gonna take that nut off. It is a 3/4 inch nut. Use my impact. Just make sure you hold on to these. Other thing I'm gonna do too is put a line on the threads right here. Yep, that just slides off and it's almost like gears in there, so definitely want to line the threads on there so that this lines up. Then go up and pull the steering column out. Steering column's out of the way now. Now we need to get this pulley off of the engine. That is a 5/8 inch socket. Slides out, has a nice long bolt, and it slides right down. There is a notch internally that'll line up when it slides back on, so don't worry about placement or marking anything on this. This is the front of the transmission pulley. We should be able to pull it back now. And now it's pretty much free mostly. I can already see this belt has a lot of shreds and cracks in it. Now we need to remove these two pulleys, and those are both 5/8 inch of a socket. All right, so in the very back here, there is a little bolt, I guess you'd say, that sticks up and keeps the belt on. You need a 5/8 inch wrench for this, and let me show you a little closer what it looks like. So it's kind of hard to point out, but it's right here where my finger is. Right next to that, you need to unscrew that. All right, so I just got it out. This is what the part looks like right here. It's got threads on the bottom, it's got a nut you can screw, and it has an Allen key on top, which I think I'm going to screw it back in that way. But now we can get the pulley off. Pulley's off. Finally got the old pulley off. Here's the new pulley. You always want to make sure and check them, check the lengths, which the new pulley is just slightly shorter than the old one, which is how it should be. Another thing you want to check is the thickness. Make sure they're the same thickness, which they roughly are. This one's slightly smaller, but it's been worn down, obviously. And the grooves, make sure they're a very similar groove. It all matches up, which is good. When it comes to the old belt, just to show you guys, as you can see, it was cracking. Let's see if I can focus it a bit. It's cracking in the belt right there, definitely worn down. I smell burned rubber smell sometimes. You can see it gets hot and it's a little crusty right there and around the belt. So it was definitely time for a new belt. Another thing you want to check is these two pulleys right here. You want to check and make sure that they are nice and smooth still and that they spin freely, which they do. So these are good. I don't need to replace these. As long as that stuff's all good, the only other thing that could be causing a slippage issue like I'm having or something like that is your transmission's also starting to go, which at that point, it's time to get a new mower. I looked up the price of a new transmission and it's almost $1,000, which this is a 4 or 5 year old mower. It's just not worth it to spend that much money on a new transmission. You might as well go out and just buy a whole new mower for $1,000 more. The other thing you can do too is try to find a scrapped one, a marketplace for 100, 200 bucks, and maybe the transmission's still good, but you run the risk of it not being good. So let's reinstall everything. When you're installing this, make sure first of all you have the new belt and not the old belt that you're putting back on, which I have the new belt. We're gonna loop it over that fan. Make sure it's not caught on anything. Now we're gonna put that one bolt back in there that kind of holds this pulley in place back there. When you're doing this, you need to make sure that that pulley is set in that groove. If not, you just did all this work for nothing. Finally got it going. Now, take your pulleys. The groove side goes first. This side goes here. Take this pulley, slide it up a bit. Make sure you put your transmission pulley on it. Take your nut. Double check that pulley. Looking good. Now, we need to insert the steering again. So I'm gonna center it and slide the shaft back in. Columns back in. I'm gonna make sure we line all this up. There we go. Everything's all lined up how it should. Now we're gonna lower the mower back down and put the deck back on, which I'm not gonna show you. All right, so before I put the deck on, it can actually drive like this without the deck. Yes, there's some things dangling underneath for the deck, but I wanna test it out before I get the rest installed. All right, real quick, I'm gonna turn it on. Turns on. So I tried forward and backward real quick. It felt good. I'm gonna get the rest of the deck on and then we're gonna test it out. The mower deck's back on now. We're gonna go test it out and see if it made a difference. All right guys, so as you can see, I just test drove it around my property, up and down the hills that have been causing issues for this to climb, and it did amazing. It totally fixed the issue I was having of pushing that pedal down and losing speed and going backwards even. Basically, my thoughts is that belt just got so worn out to where it expanded, and at full throttle, when you're just trying to mash it and go, it just kept free spinning and not actually grabbing any of the pulleys. So if you're having this problem with your ride-on lawnmower, make sure to change that transmission pulley and it'll fix your issue. With that being said, guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned a lot, as I learned a lot through this whole process. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, drop them down below and I'll try to answer them. Also, if you have any recommendations of videos for this channel, guys, please let me know. Recommend them down below and I'll make sure I get to them eventually. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and I'll catch you in the next one.